Have you ever noticed that when you're on an airplane, there's barely any room? Your seat is so thin and you can't even stretch out your legs. And sometimes hand luggage has to be put in the hold. That's why it may surprise you to hear that airlines fly empty airplanes all the time. That's right, some of the aeroplanes flying above your head right now may have 0 passengers on them. Today we're going to look at why this is and also why there's been a recent increase in these so-called ghost flights. I'm Charlie and today we're going to look at why airlines fly empty airplanes. But before we take off, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. So what exactly are ghost flights? They're not airplanes which are empty and have been all forgotten about. Instead, they're airplanes which actually fly on a regular schedule. The only difference is there's no opportunity for the public to buy tickets on these airplanes. So if no one can actually use them, then what's the point? Well, it's about airlines keeping slots. Let's say an airline has the right to fly into a popular airport, for example Heathrow Airport in the UK. If they were going to pause that service for more than 1 week, this would give the airport the right to allocate their slots to another airline for free. That would be very bad news for an airline because these slots are expensive. A single departure slot can set an airline back $100 million or more. And remember, that's for one single pair of arrival and departure slots. So what's the best way to keep these slots even when there's not the demand? Well, it's simple. All the airline does is run an empty aircraft until you're ready for normal service. According to simpleflying.com, one good example of this route is the London Heathrow to Cardiff, Wales flight. This flight leaves 6 days a week with crew but no passengers on board. Originally, it was a flight that went to Uzbekistan, but due to unrest in the country, it was cancelled many years ago. Instead of giving up the valuable slot, they decided to simply run a service to Cardiff instead. This allows them to keep the slot and save $100 million. Now, you may be thinking, why not just have passengers on this flight? After all, if the airplane's going to one destination, why not put 1 or 2 passengers on? Well, the reason why is because it would actually cost more for the airline to do. They would have to set up agents, bagging services, and other elements if passengers were on board. They know there will be costs, but they want to keep it at a minimum. So that's why they don't allow any passengers on these flights. This is very wasteful because airline fuel costs a lot of money. Also, oil and gas is running out rapidly. Not only does it waste money and resources in that sense, it's also bad for the planet. According to scientists, one of the main reasons for global warming is aeroplanes. This doesn't mean we should all stop flying, but it does mean that it's causing massive waste flying these planes with no one on them. They're literally harming the environment just to save some money. And it's also totally futile because the flights have no passengers. But what if I told you there's also one airline which flies a mysterious ghost plane? That's right, the airline PIAA has operated over 80 flights with no passengers. However, they've given no logical explanation to this. The flight ran totally empty without any passengers many times. Apparently, executives have been asked why, but they never respond to media inquiries. PIAA is Pakistan International Airlines, and it makes no sense as to why they would be flying these planes with no one on them. They're not doing it to secure slots. And also, the airline is currently losing $1 million every year. Some commentators have said maybe the airline is being used to transport illegal cargo, and some have said maybe it's being used to funnel rogue political activities. For example, there have been cases where the CIA has flown cash to various countries for black ops missions. So maybe Pakistan's CIA, known as the ISI, is doing the same thing. Other airlines have been criticized for sending in weapons to areas like Syria, and some commentators say maybe PIAA is doing something similar. But on that note, why has there been a massive increase in ghost flights all of a sudden? Well, it's because of the #1 news item right now, the coronavirus outbreak, also known as COVID-19. Right now, there's over 120,000 cases of coronavirus, and so far it's taken 4,300 lives. Well, this is causing people not to travel because they're either not allowed to or they're too scared to do so. So that's why many airlines are currently flying airplanes with no one on them. Despite the coronavirus, airports still say use it or lose it. Airports are forcing airlines to fly their planes in, making sure they still keep their slots. In Europe, there's even laws about takeoff and landing slots at airports. In the UK, these rules also apply to Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted, Manchester, Luton and London City Airport. So thanks to these laws and regulations, airplanes literally have to waste time, money and destroy the planet flying empty planes. Apparently right now in the UK, 40% of aircrafts above your head don't have any passengers on them. That's creepy to know, but even when there's not a massive pandemic, ghost flights are still operating every single day. Now it's time to make your voice heard. Do you think ghost flights are a good thing, or should they be abolished because they're wasteful? Vote in the poll in the top right corner and let me know. If you want some more amazing videos, check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.